Who is this unknown EU player who keeps topping damage and elimination leaderboards and even recently played a tournament with Vino? His name is Calle, a 16-year-old Swedish player who looks like he's on track to become one of the best players in the world. He got so good unbelievably fast, and his fighting ability is so ridiculous that people started accusing him of cheating, originally based solely off the fact that he started topping damage and elim leaderboards so quickly. Those accusations got louder after he was removed from a Div Cup finals, which made a lot of people jump to conclusions. But Calle was never actually banned, and with the level of scrutiny he's been under, if he was cheating, he probably would have been caught by now. He also posted his full PC setup on video with no clear signs of cheating or a second PC, and while we can't know for certain, it's worth looking at what actually matters instead of speculating. How Calle became one of the best fighters in EU in such a short amount of time. In this first example here, we see Calle wingsuit towards a player boxed up in the mid game, where he starts the fight by getting pumped pretty hard. He builds a 2x1 to heal, and uses an important defensive fundamental where he lets the wall be taken by the opponent, and instead looks to place a mid wall in his 2x1. This puts him at no risk of being pumped here. Something he does differently than other players though, instead of expanding here for more space, he does this really nice peek here. Because he originally has the stair facing towards the opponent likely thinks he isn't at risk of a safe right hand peek since there isn't really anywhere to hide for Calle. So Calle edits the stair in half so he lands on the ground and is able to run up to the wall here to hug this peanut butter edit to hit a big 120 tag. Because he edited the stair and made this peek so quickly, he changed what options he had available to him, and the opponent wasn't able to react to this quick enough. He then is able to pop his mini to get up to 150 HP so he isn't at as big of a risk to get one pumped and makes a really nice play. Here, he drops down to the opponent's wall and notices instantly that he doesn't have a cone or stair in his box. Calle is really good at noticing and punishing this, as you will see, but here he places a cone in the opponent's box as well as below the opponent's box. By placing the cone in the opponent's box, he's able to pokeball him and traps him under the cone, making the opponent's only option to edit down here, where Calle already has the piece below the opponent when he placed that cone there, setting up for a super easy kill. This is something top fighters are really good at. They use their builds to force their opponents to pick an option and then punish them for it. Calle also timed his drop down perfectly. He took the wall and instead of opening, he instantly went for the drop down, realizing that going down was the only thing the opponent could do, and instantly took the front wall since that would be the opponent's first instinct. In the very next fight of the same game, Calle wingsuits towards another player and does a really good job of high walling to push up to block his opponent and take those pieces, and sprints toward the wall and jumps to the perfect height to keep his momentum to look for a quick counter shot. The opponent edits his wall shut, and Calle goes for a side wall after taking his tops but is narrowly too late and gets pumped when he breaks the opponent's wall here. He goes for a quick edit and then boxes up to heal, where he again goes for this quick defensive window edit where he covers himself with a wall and stair after peeking. This is something Calle really likes to do in defensive fighting, where he will go for a quick right hand peek in his box and then reset and then make sure there are two layers between him and his opponent. If he were just trying to hold the wall here, the opponent could potentially pump him, but he has the reflexes to take the wall and the stair for two layers of protection. He then combines two tactics I've talked about so far, where he edits the stair and the wall to change his options quickly so the opponent can't react, and then resets both his stair and wall here for two layers of protection. This might not have been the safest peek, and the opponent could have pre-fired him, but since Calle was behind two tiles and did it so quickly, the opponent wasn't able to react to the option quick enough. Instead of going to heal here, Calle makes a really smart call on what the opponent is going to do. He knows the opponent really only has two options here. Because Calle is right in front of him with the floor and cone, he can't edit out the top and go over because Calle would be right on him. He also couldn't go to his left because Calle had the window in that box, so he either had to go to his right or out behind him. Calle guesses correctly, and instead of pressuring the opponent's front wall, he runs over the top and pieces the back where he's able to easily clean up the fight. He reversed this fight within seconds with his quick peeks and good read on the opponent. Calle is also a really strong box fighter as seen in this fight here. To start the fight, he pushes the opponent boxed up on the vending machine and takes the left wall as most players would when they're about to smack a wall, but also takes the cone in front of the wall and over his head too. This is something Calle does a ton in box fights that I don't see many other players doing, as he blocks off a really common angle the opponent might try to make a play from, and also cuts off an escape angle. He starts smacking the wall and sees the opponent run at him, so he instantly pre-fires and places a wall and stair simultaneously when he shoots the wall. This is another example of Calle taking the stair in the opponent's box at every possible opportunity, and he does this wall stair strategy when he breaks a wall more than any other player I've analyzed so far. He tries to take the second wall and the opponent goes up where he almost gets hit, and takes the opponent's wall and then his side wall when he tries to run out. The opponent notices this and tries to run back, but since Calle had already taken this front wall, he gets an easy tag. Calle misses his follow-up shot and 50-50s the opponent with his gun out here, putting him at a huge advantage. He does this again where he knows he'll be really hard to one-shot and just stares at the opponent's wall to finish the fight with the trade. Sometimes it's really as simple as keeping your crosshair trained on the opponent and your gun out to finish a fight. He really doesn't even need to aim here and just reacts to the opponent's bad edits and wins the fight because of it. Just look at this clip here, and notice how on this opponent he is chasing, he literally doesn't move his crosshair from the opponent the whole time. This gives him the best chance to find a stray shot, and in the end allows him to be ready to counterpiece the opponent when he opens up to easily finish the fight. In this next fight, Calle wingsuits in and uses a really clever method to open up the fight where he doesn't go into the roll animation on the wingsuit, and that allows him to slide jump with his momentum to tag the opponent around the rock. This isn't something you can do by simply just hitting the ground with the wingsuit and sliding. The way you do it is by spamming your shotgun keybind right when you get out of the wingsuit and holding your crouch button to slide at the same time to immediately slide with your momentum. By switching to your shotgun, you cancel the roll animation, and while there is a delay until you can shoot, you can slide during this time, which Calle does to get a better angle on the opponent. He looks for a double edit here, but the opponent's in a different box and starts running toward the opponent to pickaxe, but the opponent opens up and shoots him. Again though, Calle places a stair in the opponent's box since he didn't take that middle piece, and even though he got hit, he looks to pump the opponent since he wasn't cracked, and the opponent had pump delay still active so he could pump him. Calle quickly realized that although he was just shot, he had the chance to trade, and since he wasn't hit very hard, he was able to take the health advantage in the fight. He tries to take the wall and fails, and again uses this double cone strat on the side of a 2x1 where he hugs the wall to look for pressure. He did this in the interaction before, and although he got pumped because the opponent was ready, it can be really difficult to open up and edit here since you are moving so fast and hugging the wall so tightly, and it gives you piece control on both of the opponent's walls. In this circumstance though, the opponent doesn't react quick enough and tries to pump him when the wall is broken, but Calle blocks it by taking the middle wall and the opponent's 2x1. Please, 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 you guys need to start putting a middle wall on your 2x1. It is so important, and so many good players take advantage of other players not doing it. Calle wasn't able to finish the fight here, and he one-hits the low HP brick wall and runs in, which he does a lot, and looks again to do it by lowering the HP with the pistol. Here's another example where he is just staring at the opponent with his gun out while he has the health advantage, and swings left behind the opponent's far wall to dodge the opponent's peek shot. Where he is standing, there isn't really an edit the opponent could make on the far wall to have a clean peek here, so he knows this will be safe. Notice his pressure here, how every time he wants to break a wall, he sprays it below 75 HP with a pistol shot or two, and then pickaxes it to one-hit it. He isn't able to take the opponent's wall, but this is consistent pressure that forces the opponent to keep having to burn mats. And how else would he finish the fight? By finally taking the opponent's wall and placing a stair at the same time to punish him for not putting a cone in his own box. Here's another example of him taking the opponent's middle piece. The opponent and Calle ramp at each other to start the fight, and Calle goes for this clever floor peek here, where if the opponent tries to triple edit up to him and open up, he can jump and hit a quick peek shot, but the opponent goes down. Calle then drops down instantly and takes the sidewall before the opponent can, as well as the cone in front of him, and manages to take the opponent's wall here. The opponent tried to place a stair on his back so that Calle couldn't take the middle piece, but since Calle placed the stair and the wall at the exact same time, the opponent didn't have time to place his own stair to block the shot. Calle double edits the stair to crack the opponent's shield, and instantly relocates to the opponent's sidewall where he slides a cone into the opponent's box before even taking the wall, causing him to pokeball the opponent, and makes a really smart cone edit where he has an easy angle on the opponent, but the opponent can't see much due to the right hand point of view and finishes the fight. This fight and all the other ones really demonstrate how many times your opponent fails to put a stair or cone in their own box, and Calle constantly takes advantage of this by sneaking his own in. In this next fight, the opponent starts on height, and instead of going up by going forward here, which would have left him vulnerable, he goes straight up in his current tile, and then tries to go forward when he has a better angle, but the opponent does spray him down. Calle goes for a pre-fire, and then relocates to above where he takes the opponent's side wall and edits for a pump shot. He thinks the opponent is going left, so he quickly sprays the weak middle wall in the 2x1 and takes the wall and cone, but the opponent went the other way, where he swings his pickaxe and looks for a pre-fire, and again swings his pickaxe and looks for a pre-fire and trades with the opponent. Calle made the right play here. He was just unfortunately hit very hard by the opponent. He sprays the wall and edits the cone up to cover himself, and instantly goes to pop heals. Calle places a stair under his box here to reinforce in case the opponent tries to make a chop play, and blocks off an angle for the opponent to quickly push through his wood floor by placing a wall here. The fight has pretty much reset at this point, and Calle looks to pickaxe the opponent's front wall from a pretty safe angle. He sprays the opponent back and pressures the opponent from 2 tiles away before the opponent goes up, where he instantly opens when the opponent tries to pickaxe, where he barely missed the shot. He looks to open and reset to piece his opponent, but the opponent takes the cone. So Calle opens again, shoots the cone out, pieces the opponent, and then walks backward. He knows the opponent is going to walk into his view from his movement here, so he makes the angle as hard as possible for the opponent to hit, while making it so the opponent opens himself up to Calle and cracks his shield. Most players here would then look to play this wall that Calle is on, but he quickly remembers that he also has the cone above, where he swings to the top and tags the opponent again before he reacts. He then full boxes the opponent with sidewalls and looks for the safest peek possible, knowing he only needs a tiny bit of damage to end the fight. After hearing the opponent shoot his pump, he simply edits and finishes the fight with his pistol during the opponent's pump delay, since Calle wasn't one-shottable from an AR. This quick decision and lack of tunnel vision is what won him the fight. So many players, when they box an opponent, take too long to relocate to above to make an edit, and instead hyper-focus on the wall they previously edited and get tunnel vision. This final fight again shows some strategies Calle uses to win fights. He gets shot in the back when starting the fight, and takes time to pop a big since the opponent wasn't pressuring him. Calle pressures the wall here, and again, he just sits there with his gun out for a pre-fire while the opponent gets antsy and makes a bad peek. He takes the wall the opponent escaped out of and pops a mini, while not giving the opponent enough time to heal to be difficult to one-shot for Calle. He goes up, and again, he places a left wall, and then simply pre-fires again. It may not be the most exciting advice, but having your crosshair constantly placed on the opponent in box fight situations is how you can easily hit big pumps and open up fights. From analyzing his gameplay, it really didn't look to me as though Calle was cheating, as he missed shots fairly often, and there were no clear signs of wall hacks or ESP. What I did see is that Calle has really great crosshair placement, and takes advantage of the opponent not placing a cone or stair in their box more than anyone I have watched, and that along with his amazing mechanics and aim makes him a really exciting up-and-coming player. If you are interested in another young upcoming player who's become one of the best fighters in the world, check out this video on Chino.